Greetings and welcome to Disability Awareness TV show. I am your host, Reverend Radio Ray Raysor. This show is about disability rights, disability services, and your disability dollar. Your voice and advocate. Voice your concerns, voice your opinion, but please let your voice be heard. Our mission is to bring to you the people, the places, and the things that can change your life for the better, which means inclusion into society, which means living more independently in your home and in your community. America, welcome to Disability Awareness Magazine TV show. I am your host, Reverend Radio Ray Raysor. I am also your neighborhood networker. Our motto is increase your network and you'll increase your net worth. This evening, we're going to talk to our special guest, and he is the president of the Greenbelt Rotary Club that's here in Maryland, and he's going to tell us about what all the Rotary does, because Rotary Club, with all other type of service organizations, is a wonderful service that is provided by nonprofit organizations. So today we're going to have with us the president of the Greenbelt Rotary Club, and I welcome you to Disability Awareness Magazine. How you doing today, Mr. Scott?
Fine, thank you.
Okay, now Scott, tell me what your whole name is.
Scott Sibley is my whole name.
All right, and you are the president of the Greenbelt Rotary Club located in Maryland. Now, we are going to not try to be fancy, Scott, but we're going to do the who, what, when, where, and how of the Greenbelt Rotary Club. So, first of all, listeners always want to know a little bit about our guests. So, Scott, now, where was you raised and born and went to school and all that kind of thing?
Well, I was born and raised in New Jersey, specifically in Salem County, and I grew up in a pretty rural area. My father was a member of the Rotary Club there in a place called Pennsgrove, New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
And the Rotary Club likes to get people from very diverse backgrounds and professions. And my father happened to be a chemical engineer, and so he was a member for a number of years up there. And I went to school in Pennsylvania, where I started out in college at Franklin and Marshall College, and then went to school at a place called Principia College in Illinois, where I graduated with a bachelor's degree in geology. From there, I went to Washington University in St. Louis, where I got a master's degree in earth sciences. And from there, I went to the U.S. Bureau of Mines, which was located in Washington, D.C., and where I spent most of my career in commodity specialist work. The Bureau of Mines would track mineral commodity production and consumption around the world and publish that online. You can go there now and find out just about any statistic you wanted about mineral production and consumption. And I got into management there and retired about 5 years ago. And so I wanted to have something to do that involves service. And so that's when I went and joined the Rotary Club.
All right. Now, and Scott, the reason I asked a little bit about your background, because we want people to understand that people come from all walks of life that become members of the Rotary Club and the services that they perform and that they bring. And I'm glad you gave a little definition of mines, and that mines is M-I-N-E, not M-I-N-E.
That's right.
Because of what all the government secret shall we say, services that they perform. In Virginia, sometimes we don't know what kind of mines that is going on here, so thank you for that. But now, Scott, so you all meet every Tuesday at the Greenbelt Marriott, and that's from 7:30, and a lot of people like to know how long sometimes events last, because they might have to run, if they can run in and be at work at 9 o'clock. So you all are there no longer than how long?
About an hour. We start at breakfast at 7:30, and then by about 8 o'clock we move into our regular program, which involves a little bit of Rotary business and fellowship. We welcome our guests especially, and just kind of lighten things up a little bit, and then we go into what we call Happy Bucks time.
Oh,
which
yeah.
is just somebody might have a marriage in the family. They may have gone to a baseball game or some sports event, and they just want to celebrate it.
Okay.
You don't have to be any particular fan
All righty.
to participate in that, and they donate $1 to the good of the club to do that.
Okay, so let me ask you a little bit about the Rotary, because a lot of people, hear Rotary, they hear other different types of clubs and stuff, and we just take for granted that we understand what they do and why they do what they do. Now you've been a member for 3 years of this particular Rotary Club, and now you're the president, and so I know there's members in the club that have been there for 25, 30 years. I mean, have done work over the years. Now, what inspired you to join the Rotary Club? Because you all always are looking for new members. But what inspired you to join the Rotary Club?
Well, I was interested in some kind of a service organization where I could feel that I was making a contribution to the community. And Rotary just seemed to fit the bill. I had been involved in the Boy Scouts of America for a number of years because I have 2 sons, and they both went through that organization. And Rotary, as I say, just seemed to fit the bill. And I had been involved in other organizations myself. For example, a Citizens Association that I was involved in a place called Rogers Heights, not far from here too. And the Rotary International organization is based in Illinois, and they have members, chapters in cities all around the country. I think there's something like 30,000 chapters just in the United States, over 1.2 million members around the world. So it is a service organization. It's somewhat similar to other organizations, but it has that aspect of it that I liked, both fellowship with other members, both young and old. We have people from all races and all walks of life, as you mentioned, there, and very diverse backgrounds. So it seemed like a very good organization to participate in. It's both patriotic. We start out with a Pledge of Allegiance, and it involves character as well. We have what we call a sort of a pledge to Rotary, and I'll just, if I have a few minutes here, I just want to go over that, the Rotary Pledge, and we say, these are the things we think, say, and do.
These are your core values.
Yes.
Okay.
Is it the truth? We ask ourselves. Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And we should be able to answer all those positively.
Oh, okay.
So it promotes character as well as being a service organization.
And also there are women in the club as well, because a lot of people think of these organizations, Rotary and all, just male, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Righty. So also, what we want to talk about some of the services that some of the events that you all have ongoing, and some of the events that you have coming up. Now, one of the things I was impressed with, because I have had the opportunity to visit the club, is that one of the speakers, you all have a speaker, usually a speaker at every meeting that's very informative. And and this show is about disability, which is independence and accessibility, and we try to bring individuals to share services that's out there for people, as well as products. And so one of the speakers that you had was, and I would like you to talk about this organization and how they use persons with disability to handle animals, and specifically was horses, and the way they had used their horse stable to have persons with disability youth to be able to get their confidence up by working with the horses, by servicing the horses. So tell us a little bit about that organization.
Yeah, that organization is called Cura Personalis, and there is a woman there who's one of the managers who oversees the program, and she has a training, background training in dealing with the people with disabilities, and this was conceived of, I think, 4 or 5 years ago. It's in Montgomery County, and they knew that interacting with animals, specifically horses, would be good for students. And some of these students would have great difficulty in handling regular work. And they've gotten the best training they can get in schools that specialize in this thing, but then they need to go on and do something with their lives. And they've found that this is very good for the students. They can actually do things, both feeding the horses and cleaning up after the horses, and it's very therapeutic to them, and they can really learn from it and feel productive in what they're doing. And so they found that this program really is beneficial, really works with these students who have special needs.
And I found that to be very interesting, because being a person that's totally blind, and I've been blind ever since I was 13 years old. Cherry bomb exploded on 4th of July in my face and blinded me in both eyes. And there was not a lot of activities to give me the kind of confidence to be able to go on and do other things. But an organization like this, that's what it's doing with the horses, working with the horses. I mean, actually doing something where you're just not sitting down and giving some directions and do this, do this, do this, but they're actually making a difference.
Right,
and I know
exactly.
that builds up their confidence and feeling that they are making a difference, that they do matter. So that was very, very interesting to me, and I was surprised that the Rotary Club had these kind of speakers coming in and talking about an organization like that. But also, I had the privilege to be at another one of you all's breakfasts, and you had the county exec there, all right, and he talked about in Maryland here specifically, and Maryland, the exec council, the council exec, Mr. Rashawn Baker,
Yes.
and he talked about some of the things that was going on in Prince George County. And one of the things he talked about that was very impactful and very important is the Purple Line. He talked about how the Prince George County and Montgomery County, the kind of funds that they had to put to make the Purple Line operate here. And I think for Montgomery County it was $140 million. For PG County it's $120 million. And what the understanding is that the state is not budgeted or putting money in to make the Purple Line work for these two counties, because a lot of the state, other places down in far north and far south do not feel it's going to serve them. So therefore these two counties are making a Purple Line, funding the Purple Line. Now, Scott, what I wanted to know is, and what were some of the other things that the council exec talked about that was of interest to you?
Well, he talked about areas of the county where the county has put a significant amount of money in, such as in Suitland, and that area that expects the property values to go up significantly. So anybody who's invested in land in those areas is well advised not to sell that land, because he thinks it's going to go up considerably in the future. particularly because it's so close to Washington, and it has a lot of potential. As he sees it, the schools in the county are going up. I mean, their standards are becoming higher. They're having higher graduation rates. So there's a lot of things that are improving in the county. And so he had a very positive outlook about it. He felt like over the last, his term was since 2010, that a lot of progress has been made in the county.
And two other things I want to point out, because I know this is a couple of big issues in Prince George County. Is one is about the hospital that's going up over in Lanham, Maryland, and that they said they're going to be spending, that should be a top regional hospital. And they spending over $700,000 for that, so hopefully it will be a top regional hospital, so we're looking to that. As well as there was a question about the food desert in Prince George County that we hear a lot about in Prince, and food desert is where unfortunately we have too many fast food places that do not make for healthy eating, but they're coming up with a concept that they're going to be identifying certain places where they're going to be moving all of the Prince George County government, so it will give them the kind of foot traffic that a store like Whole Foods, other stores will be attracted for we can have better choices when it comes to healthy eating. And also he gave a little bit of information about the MGM complex down there in terms of entertainment, the kind of revenue that's going to be coming to the PG County, and I think right now they're up to over $30 million that's going into the coffers of Maryland. So a lot of things are happening that's positive for Prince George County, but we only point out these are the kind of speakers that is drawn and come to the Rotary Club. Now, you have a couple of events coming up, and one of your bigger events that's really, should I say, somewhat tasty is going to be your wine event. So tell us a little bit about that, please.
Yeah, we started this last year, we call it the Wine Gala, and it's held in the Aircraft Museum over in College Park. As you probably, people probably know, that was one of the first airports in the country. It's a great place to have something like that. They have nice areas where wine makers can set up their places, and people can actually buy wine directly from the winery representatives there. And it's a fundraiser for us. And we had very good attendance last year. People from all over the area came to it, and we're optimistic about having it again this year.
All righty.
I just want to mention October 21st is the date for the Wine Gala coming up.
All righty.
Yeah.
And also in October, so many things going, because October is considered Disability Awareness Employment Month, as well as Meet a Blind Person, and y'all all can meet me. I'm the blind person you can meet. And and it's also a White Cane Day. And what White Cane is we celebrate because the White Cane represents safety for people that is blind, and a lot of people don't understand why we use a white cane, but that is legislated that when you see a white cane, it indicates safety. But also now the kind of proceeds that you get from the events that you're doing, they go to such things as, I know one of y'all events, one of the things you'll support is the elementary, the elementary school, correct?
Yes.
And what type of things that you all donate to them?
Well, there's two types of things. One is school supplies. We provide assistance with that, because even with the public schools, they often don't get enough or have enough money to devote to getting enough school supplies. And also what we call the dictionary project. We found that a lot of students come from disadvantaged families, and they don't have necessarily the training and just handling a dictionary, and we actually buy the dictionaries for them. They're paperback dictionaries, and very up to date, of course, and we distribute those not only to Spring Hill Lake but schools all around the area, and that's one of the things that we use our money for. We also provide every other month we have Feed the Homeless Day. It happens to be over at the Methodist Church on over off of Delphi Road, and we get the food, pizza, and not this, usually pizza, but lasagna from Three Brothers Pizza, and we spend over a couple of $1,000s a year to do that. So that's a very rewarding practice where we both spend our money and our time doing it. Good example of the kind of thing that we do.
Well, you know, Scott, I usually have my staff to go out to some of these charity organization events they have, and I'm sure I'm not going to have a problem getting a lot of my staff to volunteer to go to the winery. But our time is up, and I thank you, Scott, for coming in. I'd like you to give your contact information, how people can learn more about the Greenbelt Marriott Rotary Club. So would you share that with us?
Yes, we have a website. It's greenbeltrotary.org, so you can just look that up on Google and find out more information about our club. As well, I am available at 301-807-8629 if you have any questions. You're welcome to call and ask me.
Now give that phone number once again.
301-807-8629.
And you'll meet every Tuesday from 7:30 a.m. in the morning, and you meet at the Marriott Greenbelt Hotel, and that's at 6400 Ivy Lane in Greenbelt, Maryland, correct?
That's correct, yes.
All right, Scott. Well, I appreciate you coming out today, and I will be coming to your meeting more often. So you've been listening to and watching Disability Awareness Magazine TV show. I am your host, Reverend Radio Ray Raysor, and as I like to say, I might not have sight, but I have vision, vision, vision.
Thank you.